Welcome to another episode of Manufactured in Africa. This is your host, Yonela Mgwebi, and I am so excited to be sitting here with this is Ntombi Zwezwe Baartman, all the way from the UK. So this lady, she wears many hats, guys. I'm not sure where to start, but her main profession, she's a social worker, but she's also an entrepreneur in the UK. So some of her credentials are she's a managing director of an events planning company, which is called ZeeZee Events, event planners. And then she has been nominated Entrepreneur of the Year in 2019. Hopefully, the streak will continue post COVID. And she was also a nominee in 2016 of the Business South Africa Business Chamber in the UK. So I'm going to hand over to Sis Dombi to introduce herself, which I'm excited to have a conversation too. Over to you, Sis Dombi.
Yeah, okay. Greetings to everyone who's listening in South Africa or anywhere, in the world. And yes, where do I start? My name is Ntombi Zwezwe Baartman, like you've said. And, the way to introduce myself, I'm the mother of three children and one beautiful, smart daughter and two handsome, respectful sons. So that is me, and I'm married, and I thank God for that. And originally, I'm from Umzimkulu, rural areas of Umzimkulu. That's where I come from. That's where I was raised. And I'm in South Africa also. I live in King Williamstown, and I have a house there, which is again in rural areas. So when I'm there, I'm a rural, I wear all those imibhaco and everything. So landumama welali, if you understand what I'm saying. Yes, and I have to togoza in my face and everything. So when I'm there, I'm really there, everything about rural, it's me. That is me. So, currently I have got a house in Durban as well. But currently, as you've said, I live in the UK now and for over 20 years now, since 2001. So This is me. Yes. So 20 years, is it 20 years to 2001 this year? So straight from rural areas of Umzimkulu, Eastern Cape, and to the UK. And here I am.
To London, in fact, the capital.
To London, yes, London, yes. So this is
exciting.
Me. I also want to say that, yes, I also want to say that, I'm a woman who believes in God as well, and I've seen God in my life. I really have to acknowledge that, because without God, I've seen that in life really, so my belief in God has kept me, has taken me to where I am today. So that is very important for me to mention. So that is me, and my parents, my family is in South Africa. I am a social worker by profession, like you say, and I manage ZeeZee Events, ZeeZee Event Planners, which is I do mostly it's catering and decoration. I'll tell you later more about that. But also I have I'm a founder of Marriage and Family Talks, which is
nice.
Yes, I've got a Facebook page on that. I've been doing that for 7 years. So I'm a person who always want to start new things. That is me. I don't get satisfied every time God gives me an idea, vision. Early in the morning, I'm an early morning person. I'm sure you experience that as we're working together. So I have an idea, and when I have an idea, I just want to help people in so many things. So whatever little knowledge that I have, and I share it with other people, because I believe that if you have been through an experience, then I need to share it with other people. Like, I hope we have young people listening, or as you call them, youth over that side, that are listening, that or everyone for that matter who's going to be inspired by my journey to the UK and everything else. You just have to really pay attention and listen. I'm sure you'll grab one or two things. So
I'm
thank
so
you so
excited. I'm so excited to have you here because we finally have had this conversation. Like, it felt like the universe was against us. Like, we've been trying. So I'm really excited to have you. And the funny thing is, I can connect to both the rural areas that you're talking about. I've never been to Mzimkhulu, but apparently my ancestors actually come from Mzimkhulu Nuba. Then they migrated all the way to
Ah,
Entabankulu. Yes, so isiduko
wow,
sami
wow, wow.
ndingumanuba, umakhwela, umacibashe, ubhobhakahle. And apparently we
Right.
come from, yes. And Eqonce is in King William's Town. One of my aunts actually got married there and she lived there. So
Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
okay, I'm gonna get into the podcast because Ngoku, I'm busy digressing. One thing I like about you is your versatility and your desire to share knowledge and to inspire other people. I really appreciate that. And it's actually quite
Mm-hmm.
amazing that you've been in the UK since 2001. So one of the
Mm-hmm.
questions that I wanted to ask was for you to please tell us about your journey. Like, how did you come to the decision to move to the UK? And how was that move, knowing that maybe you had never been outside South Africa, I assume, before you left for the UK? How was that experience?
Mm. Yeah, before I go straight to that question, I really want to share this, and this is in my heart. I hope I'm not really diverting too much, but I just want to say that since you invited me, obviously I had to think about whether or not I wanted to do this, and I said, to myself, why not? Why not? Because I'd be selfish otherwise if I don't do, because it's a journey that we have to share. Because I understand that you mentioned in your podcast that I've had an opportunity to listen that this is, it says there's a slogan which says no ordinary voices. And I like that. And the
Yes.
reason I like that is because we all have a story to tell. We all have a
Definitely,
story to tell.
definitely.
People might not have heard me speak, or they don't even know about me. But my story, as you say, will inspire that one or two people who are listening, or others, and they can share the story as well. Especially our young people. And what I wanted to say here is, things that we take for granted. For example, people here in the UK, they might take it for granted to say, oh, we just interviewed about being here. What's the deal anyway? It is actually because things that we have, remember, I've been here for 20 years, or even someone who's here
Definitely.
maybe for 5 years or 10 years, they might not see a big deal, but it is very important for us to go back home actually and share, our story. This is our story, so that we can
Yes,
motivate. We take things for granted, and yet to someone, there's people who really want to be here. What I mean? Who don't even know,
definitely.
they don't have any clue. And for that matter, they don't even think that they can get here because they thought, oh my God, no, how can I do? I can't. But actually, if I can, if
Exactly.
somebody else can, then it means all of us we can. So I thought I'll
Can
share
do
that.
it.
And just to
Yes.
congratulate you as well, because I was really impressed. You are one of the young women as well. When I was just checking your podcast, and I happened to listen to one of yours, and I was really inspired because I was like, oh my God, you have no idea. You're changing so many people's lives. And through this,
Thank
really inviting different
you.
speakers. So I thought you deserve to be congratulated for that. Okay, so
Thank
now
you.
going back to the question, perhaps if you can rephrase the question again, and then I will.
So my question is, if you could please tell us about your journey to the UK and what inspired the move.
Oh, okay,
How did
okay.
you end up in the UK? Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. UK, oh my God, this takes me back again to rural areas where I come from. I moved from South Africa 2001. So the process must have started, it started a year before. That's the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the story. So
Yes.
that was a year 2000. And I
Okay.
remember, and no offense to my mom, actually, this is a joke. And my mom said, you cannot go because abroad, because, oh my child, because it's the millennium, year of the millennium.
Yes.
And there was this belief, remember
Y2K.
that? Yes, there was this
Yes.
belief that people are going to die.
Mm.
And as a joke on reflection now, I really was so determined to go. And, obviously I'm here now, and I haven't seen people dying 20 years later. Instead, I saw people dying 20 years later when I've been here, which is through COVID. So that was a bold step that I took straight from rural areas. So in answering to your question, how I ended up here, I saw an advert. I'm a social worker by profession, as I told you. So I saw an advert on the paper. So they were recruiting social workers to the UK. So being in the rural areas with no internet, and honestly speaking, I can't remember if I have a TV. I tried to think, and I was like, I don't remember if I had a TV in my room when I was renting, which is, but so this means that, I mean, there was no accessibility to technology, which is here now, you know what I mean, these
True,
days.
true.
But through
Yes.
that advert that I saw in the newspaper, and because I'd seen before also, I had a friend who was a nurse who was applying to go abroad. And, her name was Grace, and she comes from Eskanga, which is Strangers Rest Msimkulu. She's since died, and she couldn't come here. May her soul rest in
Oh,
peace. So
shame.
she encouraged me to come here. And even though I lost her, I said I was going to apply. So, it's because of the education, really, I mean, I can speak English, so I'm trying to motivate people who are home who think speaking English, writing English and being able to read, those are the
Yes.
basic things that we need.
Yes.
Actually, that on its own, maybe it's a story or a podcast for another day. That on its own, so education is the key. So we need to try, and there's no
Definitely.
one really who can say that I can access education because, to be honest, there's a sponsorship, there's grants, and you just ask people, as long as you know what you want, you believe in yourself, you can make it. So it is through education then that I ended up being here. And in other words, like in summary to that question, I grabbed an opportunity, saw a newspaper article, and I just grabbed an opportunity. I took the risk of leaving my family behind, of leaving
Yes.
everything that I knew to move to the country. I think there's even a Bible scripture where God is saying, you leave your land and you'll go to the land which I'll show you. So I took that decision because I wanted a better life. I wanted to transform myself first.
Yes.
And in order for me to transform my family, and not only that, but to go back in the rural areas where I came from,
Exactly.
and to be
And
able to
change.
impart the knowledge that I've gained here
Mm-hmm.
to share it with others. Like they
Yes.
say, it takes a village to raise a child. I was raised there. So therefore, being here for me, there's a lot that you come and grab the opportunities, learn, explore. I like traveling as well, different cultures and everything, and be able to go back to your community.
Yes.
So it's no point us staying here then, it's being selfish again. If you're staying here, then there must be a way of giving back to your community. Thank you.
Definitely.
Take it to.
I love your story. I've got so my brain usually works much quicker than my mouth. So I want to say so much, but then my mouth just keeps saying I love. But I
Mm,
love your story. I love the fact that you're reminding people that education is the key. And a lot of the time nowadays we hear that education might not necessarily be the key, but I do believe that it is a foot in the door because you got
it
your
is.
education and then your education opened other doors. And
Yes.
I like the fact that you talk about bringing back, giving back to your community, and I know you give back through your charity organization and the other stuff that you do right here in South Africa. If you could perhaps maybe tell people a bit about that, and then we'll get
Mm,
back to your story. And
that's fine.
like I like the
Mm,
fact that you're saying people must take an opportunity. I want to comment on that. A while ago, I saw that people can now move from South Africa to the UK with a matric, and some of them can come and do home based care where they actually look after the elderly and all of that. And those are opportunities that people down here don't know about. And
oh
those are
yes.
opportunities that are open to you and me and anyone else who wants to grab the opportunity and make, because I mean, if you're earning pounds, it's easier for you to convert those to a lot more money for your family
It
here in South
is.
Africa.
It is. I
But
mean,
I
really,
di-
yeah.
yeah, I digress. If you could tell us about the charities and the things that you're doing in South Africa while you're still in the UK, which I think are amazing.
Mm,
Yes.
mm. Right, right. Okay. In South Africa, actually, I just started. I have a registered charity, which is NZB Foundation, which just started last year, and that is, NZB is Ntombi Zwezwe Baartman because, I was thinking about so many things, and I just had to go with that. As
Mm,
simple as that. So,
makes
I
sense.
mean, as I told you before, that I was, I'm also a founder of Marriage and Family Talks, which I started here in the UK together with my husband in 2014 or 13, around there, but it's 7 years now. So through that, it was like I'm a social with my social work head. I felt like it's like the office is restricting me in the office. I want to go in to be in the community to do more, to take what, it's like I'm doing social work to the community, right? So I've
Yes.
been doing this here, although I'm not registered here, but I've been hosting a lot of events here under that, workshops with married couples. I've got lots of testimonies from people there, and others will be big events where we hold events and teaching each other really about social problems and the stuff. And you know what I mean? So from that MAFTA, which is Marriage and Family Talks, then I wanted to do something in South Africa. So when I registered, then this foundation, what we do is mainly about me doing social work to the community.
Okay,
So a
I see.
registered charity where it's mostly about children and families in need.
Mm.
So because I'm a generic, so this is we give to the children in need, we give to the families, everyone really who's got a need. And at the moment we are not sponsored. It can be the elderly. Like tomorrow we've got an event, Mzimkulu, which is through the charity. It's a beauty contest for Pandamo. Who will
Oh,
be, I've
nice.
sponsored two children there to go and do the charity work, and there'll be a lunch, and they're very excited right now. Today, they're all really excited about this partnership, and you know what I mean. It's all about promoting and empower our community as well. And we had a Women's Day on the 9th, which was well attended by, all Department of Social Services. There was a social worker there. There was Department of Health, the community. So it's all about really giving back to the community, but also that we're saying to the communities, it's not about us giving back, giving money all the time, giving food parcels. We also partner with Red Cross there. We gave 56 parcels, but it's not like every time we have an event, we have to give, which is how I started. But it's also to say, we want to empower you. Like we
Yeah.
after last week, we had we're gonna have a big workshop next year where we identifying skills, what people want to do, not what Ntombi wants people to do, but what is it that is in you. Try and think, what is it? What do you aspire to be? If you want to start a dressmaking school, you know what I mean? All those things. Then we're gonna have workshop when we invite all the professionals. So to talk to our people to empower them so that everybody can start a business. We don't have to go and
Mm.
look for work, to be honest. We don't have to,
Yes.
because why do we go and buy in town? I'm sorry, black people, we need to, we can buy from each other. I can be making, like, for example, I've got my sister, Ugugu Mzizi, in town there. During COVID, we advised her in our family group WhatsApp meeting to start a bakery in her own home. And now she's selling,
Yes.
she's too busy, she can't even do so, things like that. So we're trying to
Yes.
empower people, but those that are really in need, we've got a long list. We're even fully booked now for next year. We really try and meet. The 10 pounds you mentioned earlier, that when you are here, you have an advantage of a pound. I don't have much money. I don't want to say for me, but with the little that I have, if I've got 10 pounds, I send it home. It feeds a family. So that is,
Yes.
in a nutshell, really about charity. There's a lot of things I can say, but in the interest of time, I think you got the point there.
I like your sister Tombi, like I can resonate with you. We also, my mom and I started because we're more passionate about education and
Mm.
Fikelela Foundation, and that's how you and I actually connected.
Yes,
It
yes,
was
yes.
it's such a pity that COVID happened. Hopefully next year things will get back to normal and we can all start doing the work that we did.
Yeah, and I can wait
With
to host you when you're over here.
Yes, with every beautiful story, there are challenges. So
Of
I would
course.
like to know, one, what were the challenges that you faced when you had to make the move, especially as a Black person, and how easy was it to access the UK?
Yeah, okay. Oh, yes, definitely. Every thing or you touch or, everywhere there's challenges. And it's those challenges that one day you can write a book actually and say, this is my testimony. Without challenges, life is
Definitely.
not a straight ruler or something. You know what I mean? You have to go, it's got ups and downs. And, there's a quote which says, what does it say about, being tough, really, that, anyway, I forgot about that quote, but really there are challenges all the way. So
Yes.
people really at home, we shouldn't be discouraged by any challenges that you face. How I've lived my life is that God has given me that strength that the more I have a challenge, like today, you remember when we were trying to set up this, the more I have a challenge, the more I rise for some reason. I get the strength,
Exactly.
I like
Mm.
challenges. Come on, challenges, because when I have a challenge, it's more, I don't know, for some reason. But anyway, the challenges that I faced when I came here, just for people to know, number one, obviously, as I said before, I don't know if I mentioned, but I wasn't satisfied, isn't it, with my life. Being a professional, you want to have all these things, car, you think you're gonna have a car, a beautiful house and everything. I couldn't afford things when I was there. My job was not paying me enough. So
Yes.
that was a challenge number one, in a way, because I was like, I used to talk to my colleagues and say, "Are you satisfied?" When people were saying, "Why are you? Do you really go abroad? Are you not scared?" And I said, "No, no, no, no. We need to. I'm not satisfied, and therefore I think I can do more." So challenge number one was number two. That was the challenge number one, not being satisfied. But money was an issue because to come to the UK, you needed about 20K. I'm saying this on purpose. I wasn't sure whether to include it or not. I did not have
No.
the money when I was there, because the
Yes.
money that I was getting, it was debited, all of it and everything. And then,
Mm.
but that did not stop me. That
Mm.
did not stop me. That I don't have the
Yes.
money. If I don't have the money,
Yes.
somebody who's got a good heart has got the money. So I have to use my mouth
Yes.
to talk, to open my mouth. So if you don't have
Mm-hmm.
money, it doesn't mean you've got an idea. Talk to people. You have to talk to people,
Mm.
consult other people, and people will help you. So my family and good friends, helped me to have money together. Obviously, I was working as well.
Yes.
It was not like it was bad, no. But obviously, to come
Mm.
here, you need money. So I'm just talking to someone
Definitely.
who wants to really to come here, and so you can
Or
save as well.
even, yes,
Yes, go
sorry to
ahead.
cut
Go
you
ahead.
off. Or
No
even
problem.
somebody who wants to go to school or wants to start a business. Sometimes it's a matter of you using your network and going to school. And I find that a lot of
Exactly.
youth and a lot of people, we just want to give up at the first obstacle. Oh no, I don't have money, then I'm gonna sit around and wait for the world to feel sorry for me. It's
Yes.
important.
No.
I love that lesson that you talk
Mm,
to people, that you try now, where you bring the resources that you have. Yiza nentona
exactly.
esandleni. I like the story
Mm,
of Moses, where Moses is like, I don't know how to speak, God. I can't go out into the world and go
mm,
save the Israelites. And God is like, what is in your hands? Because God has
exactly.
given us all a talent, has given us all something that we can use to get to where He wants us to get to. But
Amen to
sometimes,
that.
yes, so I really like what you're saying and I love it. I'm glad that you brought it up. But you can
Mm.
continue. I'm sorry for cutting you
Yes.
off.
No, no, no. Thank you, sister. Thank you for that. Yes. So I thought it was important as well to share. So nothing is going to stop you. It's the mindset. Your
Yes.
mindset. You need to be positive and trust people
Mm.
as well. Know that you can talk to people. It's not all the time that, this mindset of people are going to say, "Oh, what about me?" No, no. You talk to people. So point number two. When I was there, obviously I was a social worker, Mzimkulu, and I had to do a lot of traveling to different cities. Of course, I'm coming abroad, and I need to do
Mm.
interviews. There's a lot of things that you need to do.
Yes.
I'm talking to someone who really wants. So you need to be prepared to come out of your comfortable zone, isn't it? Come out of your
Mm.
comfort and be willing to travel. And in that process,
Yes.
it's sort of like you need to remember being the person that I am. I always make good friends easily, and I always attract good friends, by the way. So the importance as well of having good, relationships with people, being
Yes.
a person that people can trust. When I had to
Yes.
travel to Joburg, I did not know anyone in Joburg at the time. I know now my family are all over almost every province, but at the time I did not know anyone in Joburg. The hotel is expensive, but I was able to connect with people that I was in uni. So I had to ask people who's in Joburg, I used to travel there a lot, and so I used my relationships there to, for accommodation, and it was good. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So that's another thing
Yes.
as well. So you need to be a person who's able to talk to people. And also another challenge that I had there, and I'm proud to say that because I was so determined, I was committed, I was focused, I was not giving up, I was not looking back. I failed an interview in the process. And this is
Yes.
my beautiful story because I always say at the moment I'm currently supporting or mentoring. I've got 30 social workers who want to come to the UK during COVID. And I've given myself time as part of my foundation to help people because I don't want people to go through what I went through. I had no
Yes.
mentor. I
Mm.
didn't know one person. I didn't see UK on TV or anything where I had an idea. But here I
Yes.
am, I made it. So I failed the interview when I went there. It was a video interview. I've never been to a video interview then. So Zoom, guys, is not something that's starting now. It started a long time ago, by the way. So that was then 20 years ago. And I went, I was so confident with whatever I knew. I prepared very well. But I failed the first interview. Did that stop me? No. So when I failed the interview, I had to find out what's the other way of getting there. And they said the agency, which are you say, we can arrange so many interviews and there was options. And I ended up picking the option, which was a visa. So doing a visa, that's where I needed money, of course. And I arrived in the UK. And again, I want to say that because I had no zero mentors and the people that I knew that were here were not in my field. So with what I knew, it was not enough. So you need to connect people, find mentors in your field. In the
Yes.
world of internet, there is absolutely no excuse, guys. I encourage you with
Yes.
internet. You can learn a lot, find out about the country you want to go to even before. That will make your life easily. Kuthiwa
Yes.
ngesixhosa inyathi kuthiwa intoni indlela ibuzwa kwabaphambili, ne? Is that it correct? Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
to ask, I usually have mentors in everything. In marriage, in my marriage, I've been married for 20 years. So I've got mentors, people who are older than me. If I don't know anything, I go and ask at least 3 to 6 people and I compare information. So you
Yes.
shouldn't be shy, for your own success, really. So those are the challenges that I really met on the way. And, but because also I had God on my side, I had this faith. I remember coming here, I carried my own mini hi-fi because I used to play gospel songs and everything. And that sort of like carried me through. So those were some of the challenges that I had really, coming here. But the most important one that I'm proud to say that I failed the first interview, but that did not stop me. I did not have the money to come. Sorry, darling, that did not stop me again. I was determined to come and I did make it. Take it away, sis.
I really love your story. I love the fact that you were strong willed and you were determined and you achieved your goal at the end of the day. And I think, if anything, that people should take away from this conversation is that when you are determined and you have a positive mindset, things will fall into place. And I like the fact that you are talking about mentorship. Mentorship is so important. Wherever you
Mm,
go to work or whatever you do, find someone in that space that's going to show you the way. Nyani ngesixhosa kuyatshiwo uba those who went before, ask them, they will know the path. So
yeah.
I would want to understand, in the UK, have you not had any experiences that made you wish you could come back to South Africa? Like, no, I don't like this. I don't want to do this anymore. So, because I mean, you're in a foreign land, it's not your home, and yeah, things can be difficult.
Mm, mm. And the question to that is specifically,
Oh no, I'm just asking about the challenges that you have faced now being
or
in the
in the
UK.
UK, now that I'm in the
Yes,
UK. Oh, excellent.
yes,
Yes, yes, yes. No, that's fine. I get you. Sorry about that. Yeah, number one, arriving to the UK, I'll keep on saying that I come from rural areas. So you come from this small town, and obviously, I studied in University of Durban, Westville, where I did my social work and my honors in industrial relations. So I at least I knew, had an exposure of a city. But Durban being the small city, so
yes.
you can compare. But more so now as in Zimkulu. So from, uh, you know, really, because I was a shy and a person who was really keeping to myself as well at the time. So straight from Zimkulu to London, that's a big challenge, number one.
Yes.
And as I say, no internet. I did not know what UK looks like. I really did not know because I did not have no mentors, not even a person telling me how it was looking like. So
Yeah.
cultural shock, that was another thing. As soon as
Yes.
I got to the office, I think that all I heard was, I'm going to white people. When that's all I knew. British is all, and I want to learn as much as
Yeah.
I can from them and get back to my country. So in my office, I have managers who are white and black. I see a lot of black people as well, and I'm like, am I in UK?
Yeah.
So the cultural diversity now. And
Mm.
me loving languages. I mean, I went to Maria Zell, by the way, high school. So
Oh,
yes,
Ematatiela.
yes, going to Madadela. So give us Sesotho Hanyana. And
Uh-huh.
I love languages as well. So I was excited with this diversity in the UK, but that was a cultural shock, which I did not expect to see
Mm.
many black people who speak English. And another thing was, as a challenge, was that the culture is different. It's a British
Yes.
culture. Whether people are black,
Mm.
they look like you. When you say hello, people are keeping quiet. People don't. It's gone better, I promise you. Those times, really, when you say hi, people just pass. And when you drop something, somebody drops something, and you say, "Oh, sorry," and you try and help. Us as South Africans or Africans,
Yeah.
and people say the culture, they'll be saying, "Oh, what are you sorry for?" Oh my God. And
Oh
immediately you
my.
get disappointed. And not only that, but they
Exactly.
say, it's not your fault. Oh, darling, it's not your fault. What are you sorry for? So the culture shocked me. So now it needs somebody who know where you come from as well, because, coming from Africa, you don't lose who you are. Your identity is very important. So you continue with
Definitely.
your own, we've got Ubuntu, you have
Mm.
to maintain that. And, don't be like, they say when we are in Rome, do as Romans do, but there's certain things that were taught at home that what will always be good. So you
Yeah.
remain who you are, what you were taught. So, and be helpful and be friendly. And that's what we're known, as South Africans, here, because we have that spirit of Ubuntu, and helping attitude, good personality, really, to be able to reach to other people. And the other challenge that I had was the language. um, English. Oh my God, I couldn't understand. When I say I couldn't understand, the accent is very different. It was a
Yes.
British, even the black people, the accent. So I struggled with that. So that's why it's important when you're going to travel to a country, find out as much as you can about that country. Try. Now people are lucky, like I say, that I'm mentoring or I'm supporting social workers. By the way, there's 3 of them who are going to come here and in the next few weeks that I've been advising. I'm proud of them. I've been coaching them for
Congratulations
interviews
to
and everything.
them.
And there's so many who want to come. I always say to them, please ask us. I'm here. I give you permission. Wake me up if
Mm.
you need to. Ask as much as you can. Take the advices. At least now you have people like us who can advise you. So you need to be, as I say,
Definitely.
I'll continue to say, talk to people who know, as I say, bindlela ibuzwa kwabaphambili. So the whole cultural shock, the system is different from home. And this is where, Yonela, you begin to appreciate Africa.
Yes.
This is where you begin to appreciate South Africa. You miss even you appreciate even, you miss home, you miss your family, you miss your
Yeah, I can
surroundings. So
imagine.
you need to be a strong person. You need to know why you're here. It's easy to get depressed, mental. I've seen a number of people, sometimes just by moving. So connect yourself here, find out South African groups. And one thing that kept me strong was that as soon as I was here with my little hi-fi of, where I was playing gospel music, I think within 2 weeks I connected to a church.
Oh, yes.
So because we at home, we're raised, we go to church. So when we're here, don't think that I'm away from parents, I'm away from, and you're not gonna go to church. You have to, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, because you've
Because
got
you
something to
need that.
learn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you need that support. We all need community. And I think one thing I learned that through COVID, that you're
Mm,
so isolated, you've got no one, and the
mm.
community that you build is very important.
Yes,
My
yes,
next
yes,
my
yes.
next question was gonna ask you, how has your life changed having lived in the UK? But I do understand that now you're more financially able and you are able to do things for yourself and other people in your community. So maybe briefly just tell us, how was it starting a business in a foreign land? It's hard enough for people to start businesses in their home country, South Africa, and then now you have a thriving business all the way in the UK and you're winning awards. So how has that journey been for you?
To be honest, starting a business, um, it's over 10 years ago now when it started as me, I mean, from home really. I like to organize events. So when I was back home, anything that I have to arrange, it's a wedding, it's a funeral, and I always, learned from those who are older than me. Currently, I've got my three sisters who are family members. One is Mrs. Malanda, who's in Mzimkhulu, who owns a garage, a restaurant, and stairs and everything. And there were three
Oh,
sisters.
wow.
One now is in America with all her children, who's married to my uncle. And, I've got another one who's just, we lost her, just recently during the COVID times, although she didn't die of COVID. So those three women, oh my God, they really taught me a lot. I used to go, I'm talking about how I started a business here. I
Yes.
used to go whenever there's something, older people. I was young, and I remember I had some of my family members. They used to joke. Sometimes I will catch them talking about me behind my back, and that was a joke to say, "Oh, this one we are tanda banda badala uzenza bedel." Not in a bad way. This is me. This is
No, I get you.
this is Bob.
Yeah.
I still get that a lot even now. So
Mm.
ndandingulomntana owayesoloko eklinge to the older people. And this is
Mm.
the advice. This has been a theme because even nasemtshatweni wam, I've been married now for 20 years. There's so many challenges. Every little thing, I can write a book about that as well. And here I'm still standing
Mm.
because I associate myself with people who abadala kunam, or people who've
Who
got
have the
wisdom. Even you,
knowledge.
yes, even you now, I don't know your field. I'm a social worker. I don't know what you do, your engineering or whatever. So, I have to learn from that. So I humble myself. So you have to have that thing of humbling yourself and learn and having a
Yeah.
desire to learn and be able to impact that knowledge to others. So starting a
Yes.
business here, there was a gap. I saw like, we're here, we miss Africa. There's nothing we need to be proud of Ubuntu Betu as Africans, as South Africans. So,
Yes.
at the time there was, I can't remember if there was no South African shops or anything, but if there were, you'd really travel miles to get that. So it was like about, no, we miss South African food. We're sending a lot of money home and giving people money, but we're not doing anything for ourselves. Let's celebrate ourselves. So I started organizing parties, baby showers, and everything, and that led to a business because I was cooking, a South African
Imingqusho.
food. And imingqusho, yes, umngqusho. I've got umngqusho now. Even kids who were born here, my dear, my two sons were born here. They eat umngqusho, they eat ipapo, eat boerewors and everything. You might take this thing for granted. I'm
Yeah.
still proud to say now that I've taken a career break for 3 years now. It's a long one. I need to go back. But yes, a social work, I've taken a career break because my business at some point got so busy. I do all
Yes.
the, so I cook for almost all the departments from South Africa that are here. It's very busy, and because of that cultural food, I'm maintaining my culture through food. I'm promoting South Africa through food. You see, people don't
Amazing.
see that. Many people have got no idea that true food, South African food. And I cook for Zimbabwean community, for Kenyans. People say, "Oh, I want a boerewors." I mean, British people, like my clients will be,
Yes.
now I'm talking about, I'm going deep and I didn't want to, like tourism, South African embassy, I'll go deep later, but I'm saying true food, just food. Do you even need to
That is
study for that?
amazing.
Do you even need
No.
to study? You need to know English, isn't it? But anyway,
Yeah.
because education is the key, you need to have a degree to open doors for everything and go ahead and do all, everything else.
Oh,
Like I've got
yeah.
post-qualifying, degrees as well that I've done, as I've told you before. So education is the key, that I'm using the social work skills in even planning any event that I have in my catering business, in my decorating business, in anything that I do, those skills are transferable. So education is the key, and your culture will take you far. People have got no clue. To be a South African, it's a huge thing, and people don't know. So that culture that you do, things that we take for granted in Africa, like ubuhlali and everything, it's a big deal here.
Yes.
It's a big deal.
I can
So that is how I
imagine.
started. Yeah. So
This
I
is
use me being
amazing.
South African. Yes.
Yes. This is amazing. Hopefully you'll plan my wedding if I ever get married. Okay, so I think we have like 5 minutes left. I'm just gonna ask
Okay.
the last three questions. What advice would you give to a person wanting to immigrate or just wanting to take that leap of faith and do something that is out of the ordinary or something that's scary to do?
Right. Okay. What I would say is that really, anyway, there's two questions there. If you want to immigrate, I think I've been talking about it throughout. Really, you need to find yourself mentors in that field. If you are
Mm-hmm.
a professional, people to guide you. Doesn't matter whether people are old or young. You need to be prepared to learn from others, to humble yourselves and be able to consult people, and do not fear. It's even in the Bible. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a
Mm-hmm.
spirit of boldness and a spirit of sound mind.
Yes.
Have that thing that if so and so can do it, I can. There's so many role models now. There's people who are doing, better than us. And always associate yourself with people who are doing much more than you. Don't think that,
Yes.
oh, I'm better at this. No, you're not that. There's so many people who can do better. So ask people, find out, research about things, and do not give up. When there's challenges on the way, know that you are not the first person to have that challenge. You can overcome anything, and all things are possible, really. And
Yes.
I've got a slogan that I like, which says, I mean, this is in the Bible as well, that if God is on my side, who can be against me? So find things, so through your faith as well. So believe in yourself and trust God in the process. Everybody have got the things that they believe in. I hear now being here that some people believe in objects, some people believe in I'm telling you, there's so much out there. But if you know who you
Yes.
are and whose you are, God has given you that strength. You can. I've got so many testimonies. I happen to have at some point a child who was told that, oh, he might have special needs.
Yes.
I'm sure I still have a report in the house. And guess what? He's going to university. We're taking him to university. That is on Sunday. Do you understand?
Amazing. Yes. Thank you so much for that. And I agree. Anything is possible. You just have to
Yes.
believe. Okay.
Yes.
So, from what you've said, you still do identify as South African, very much South African. What makes you proud to be African, South African, whichever way you choose to answer the question?
Yeah. To be honest, I'm very proud to be South African, and just because of my culture, as I'm saying, I promote South Africa here in the UK, which is overseas abroad, through food.
Mm,
So proudly South African, and I share anything which is South African. So we must be really be proud of where we come from. Our backgrounds. We
mm,
shouldn't really, when we're here, and we become too westernized. So even the
yeah.
language, people, when you speak Xhosa, people say, "What is that? Is that Nelson Mandela language?" So be proud of where you come from. I'm really,
Mm.
proud to be a South African in the UK, and it has opened so many doors for me.
I'm really proud of you too, Sister Dawn, because people tend to change when they see the glitz and glam, the long buildings. So my last
Yes,
question is, what would you define the African brand to be? What would you define it to be? Like when people look
yes.
at you, what do you think they see? Yes.
Yes. When people look at me, number one, as a South African woman of, Imbokodo, you know what I mean, with a
Yes.
history of South Africa, they look at us as a strong woman. I'm a strong woman. I've overcome many things that our children in the West, they wouldn't, Being an
Yes.
African woman, I mean, we're taught a lot of things. A lot of things. We are resilient. We are, I mean, we achieved a lot of things that were real that people cannot cope. Even things like really stress, we don't have stress in our countries. So being a South African, people, when they look at me, they see that strong woman, a woman who's got ubuntu, and walking in the room, I always make sure that it's either I wear a amatrika, which is South African beads, or I wear a bracelet, which is South African, or I wear traditional clothes. So I represent South Africa wherever I go. And if I don't, I've got a dish when there's whatever an event, I bring a South African dish that I share with people. So I'm proudly South
Yes.
African. I promote South Africa wherever I go. And this is me. This is South Africa, and promoting our youth even here. Really, we're encouraging them that, you need to know your language. You need to know your Zulu, your Xhosa, your Sesotho, your Setswana, because you are African. So when people look at
Yes.
me, they're not confused. They're not confused. They know that I am from South Africa. And because of mostly Ubuntu and the way I represent myself, my behavior as well, you know what I mean, and the character, yeah.
Thank you so much, Sis Ntombi. This was an amazing conversation. I hope we can talk again about your entrepreneurial ventures. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Just one last thing to say, that people mustn't be afraid. Do not be afraid to dream, and do not be afraid to fail. Thank you so much.
Catch us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our YouTube channel. It's Manufactured in Africa. Africa, 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 Africa.